I think the biggest thing is to make the decision itself. Once I had made the decision, I never had a regret. My name is Hugh Barrett. Farm here is based in Rathaspeck, just outside Wexford town, close enough to Johnstown Castle. Traditionally it was a dairy farm, 100 acres, we milked 60 cows. About 14 years ago we decided to transition from dairying to forestry. We converted most of the farm to forestry. We planted a 50-50 mix of Sitka spruce and broadleaf, 40 acres approximately of each. So here we are now 15 years in and we can see the progress. The return of wildlife too. What is not a huge forest, yeah, it's been very significant. We've pine marten, badgers and foxes, stoats, mink, rabbits, hares. Huge amount of birds that we didn't see before. We've the spotted woodpecker, we've jays, buzzards are very plentiful. And just smaller birds, yeah, it's unbelievable. When we ceased dairy farming, the intention was to continue a small beef enterprise on the farm. We wanted to do it organically, so we decided to pick a breed most suitable to an organic system. So we chose Dexter cattle, a traditional Irish breed. We had kept up to about 40 Dexters. When we began to consider alternatives, forestry was to the front. I spoke to a few people who had converted to forestry, and as a result we contacted Greenbelt. We heard they were a good company. The forester who came down and dealt with us mainly was Manus Crowley. From the start I liked Manus's attitude, his approach to forestry. It wasn't about blanketing the place with Sitka spruce. He had empathy for the environment, which fell in with my own views. We drew up a plan. It was 50% spruce to keep it economically viable, to create an income stream in the short to medium term. But also we wanted to do more for the environment, so we chose to go with 50% broadleaf. In the early days we planted 30 acres of ash in 2010. Unfortunately, as we all know, ash dieback reared its head, and in 2014 that 30 acres was removed and replanted under the reconstitution scheme with a very diverse mix of trees. We'd quite a lot of oak. We planted a few plots of oak, a lot of hazel, spindle, tulip trees, Spanish chestnut, beech, there's alder, there's redwoods, eucalyptus, Fraser fir, only small plots of all these, but just to make it as diverse and interesting as possible. To be honest, I found dealing with the department back then was straightforward. Yeah, they were supportive. For the first, I think, 4 years, whatever company you employ to do your planting, they will look after the maintenance. They'll ensure you have your mandatory 90% establishment. Weed control will be looked after. After that, the responsibility falls to the farmer. And that's up to the farmer. Some farmers adopt a very hands-on approach. I suppose I'm one of those. I like to be involved. I like to be out in the woods. There's a lot of work involved in it. Pruning, shaping, with the broadleaves in particular. A lot of work. That's very important. With the spruce, I suppose, not so much, because once the canopy closes, the spruce will just go for the sky themselves. Intervention will come later. I don't want to clear fell the forest at all. I want to keep it. So we'll basically be heading towards a CCF picture, I think. It means selective removal of trees, the encouragement. There will always be a forest standing. You'll never take out every tree and be left with a barren landscape. There'll always be a forest. You take out a percentage on a rotational basis. Going forward, we're approaching first thinning phase now, so that will involve the creation of farm roadways for access reasons. We'll do that as eco-friendly as the system will allow. Roads are necessary, but we'll try to be as uninvasive as possible. I think the biggest thing is to make the decision itself. Once I had made the decision, I never had a regret. Do your research, know what's involved. If you do make the decision to go, employ a contractor that you trust and a forester that you trust, and I think that's the biggest thing of all. Go in with your eyes open. There's uncertainty when it comes to harvesting. That will depend on market fluctuations, but be in control of your game.